First, we will pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liaoming, homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong, homage to the 16 Dharma King Karmapa, and to Master Dzogchen Dorje. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of the good practice tonight, Medicine Buddha of the Eastern Lapis Lazuli realm. Sumo, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the internet, and our guests of honors today, the wife of Secretary General Liao of the Coordination Council of North America of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of China, Dharma Sister Judy. And today is also the birthday of Dharma Sister Judy, so happy birthday. And accountant of the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa. Producers for the Illuminating Your Heart TV program of CTI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca. And the professor from National Cheng-Yen University of Taiwan of the WE Department, Dr. Wang. And the wife of the head of the board of directors of the Overseas Credit Warranty Fund of the Republic of China, Dharma Sister Vivian. And Dr. Zhong. And attorneys to the True Buddha Foundation, Miss Zhou Huifang and her son. Good evening, how do you do? Good evening in Chinese, English, Japanese, Cantonese. So, this evening we practice the medicine Tathagata of the Eastern Lapis Lazuli realm. And as we all know, that if we do the division according to the directions, that we know that this deity is residing on the eastern side, on the east. And there is a pure land called the Eastern realm of the Lapis Lazuli. And that is the pure land of the medicine Tathagata. So one is on the east and the western paradise is on the west. And there are 5 directional Buddhas. So north, south, east, west, and the center. So those are the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. So maybe most people would think that to the east it's Akshobha Buddha. And some people think that the same one deity with 2 names, so Akshobha Buddha and Medicine Buddha. Some people are in that opinion that Medicine Tathagata and Akshobha Buddha are 2 names of the same body. That's the realm of the Buddhas, so who knows whether there are 2 different Buddhas or one Buddha with 2 different names. So you would only know when you go there. But when you get there, it's no way for you to come back. Like hells, who has gone to hells? No one living here has. A lot of people don't know what hells are like. And according to the Buddhist sutras, there are the 8 cold hells and the 8 hot hells. Together 16 great hells. But no one has been there, because if you're there, you would not be here. And people also know that there are heavens, but where are the heavens? They are above, and hells are below. What does it mean to be above and below? Because from the viewpoint of the universe, there isn't anything like above or below. Above could be below, below could be above. That heavens are up there and hells are down there. That's the concepts of most people. But now, like a universe, like the earth is round, so which sides are up and which sides are down? But hells should be, but hells exist and heavens should also exist. And human world also exists, right? Does it exist? You think so? Let me share a joke. A lady told her mom, I don't want to get married. That person is agnostic. He doesn't believe in gods, doesn't believe in heavens or hells. And the mom told her daughter, don't worry, good daughter. Once he's married, he would know right away that there is hell on earth. So there is a meaning here. If you're not married, you may not know that there is hell. But once you get married, you would know. So our Dharma sister Erica, she is very carefree. She doesn't know whether they are heavens or hells. And she has a famous sayings that if you meet your karmic enemy, then you would marry him. So actually, that's all karma or karmic affinity. Some marriages are good, and some marriages are like fire and water, like hell. Actually, hell does exist on earth, as spoken in Buddhist Sutra. There is a hell that's not a real hell, but it's like hell. So the hospitals are hell. So when you're sick and it's like fire, like you're burning, your body's burning, isn't that like hell? So in the hospital there are all kinds of hells. The hell to open your brain, to carve out your eyes, open heart surgery. So you open, cut you up. So cleaning your intestines, health. So in the hospital, all this exists. So if you're hospitalized, you have no more dignity. You're in the hands of the doctors. So we consider the doctors as like the kings of hell. and they just turn you over and over, and at the end you would die. So when you call that hell, so there are lots of sufferings on earth that are like in hells. So don't say that hells don't exist. And in the human world, there are also heavens. If you live in a beautiful palace and you have lots of money to spend, and you eat delicious food, what do you call that? The designer, like if you wear Hermes and live in a palace and you drive a Lamborghini sports car and you're healthy, then you would be like in heavens. So wouldn't you call that heavens? But in any case, they're all temporary. They're ephemeral. So in Buddhism, we say that nothing belongs to you. That when the time comes, everything just illusory. They're all intrinsically empty. So there's no need to be sad, to be too sad, because our true Buddha school disciples, most are quite average or poor. So we're like the beggars, and Grandmaster is the master of the beggars. So there's no need to be too sad. That one day you would know, when the time is there, that nothing belongs to him or her. No matter the top position you have, the most enjoyments you have, one day they all will be gone. This is like what the Buddha said, impermanence. If there's death, there must be birth. If there is strength, there must be weakness. If there is a prime time, then there must be a deterioration. So don't think that now you're healthy, one day you would be weak. Don't think that now you're really rich, that one day maybe you have nothing. Don't think that now you're as happy as in heavens, but one day you would fall into hell. That's why spiritual cultivation is rather important, is most important. So if you understand that there are hells on earth, then you would want to cultivate spiritually. Only those who have suffered would understand the value of spiritual cultivation. Today we will continue to expound on the great perfection Dharma. There are the levels, the stages. We have talked about Qi, which is the 9-cycle Buddha breathing, and also the Vajra chanting, which is the practice of Qi, and also treasure-based energy yoga, that's also the practice of Qi. And then the treasure-based energy yoga plus the divine water practice, you would be healthy and beautiful, rejuvenated. That's very good. And today I will expound or talk about inner fire. So when your Qi practice, the energy practice, is perfect, then you should start the inner fire practice. And actually before that, I also talk about the non-leaking practice. When you have friction in the non-leaking practice, then you can start practicing inner fire. The key point is, in our bodies, in everyone's body there is fire. And you say, what? Don't scare me. How could I have fire in my body? Then I would be burned. But you do have that fire inside your body. But it has not reached the burning point. You have temperature, and temperature means the fire element. There are 5 elements inside our body. The first is earth element. That's bones and the flesh, muscles. And then the water element, that's the blood and all the liquids inside our body. And then the fire element is the temperature that you maintain in our body. The same temperature that we maintain, that's the fire element. And then the wind element or the air element, that's our breathing. The air that we inhale and exhale, that's the wind element. And then is the space element. And what is this? The space or void is our mind, our thoughts, our consciousness. And in tantric spiritual cultivation, in the inner practices, the practice of inner fire is because we have the fire element in our body. So we utilize our body's temperature. So this fire element is spoken in Taoist practices as well as tantric Buddhist practices. And it exists in below the navel, about 4 finger width. And that's the female, like fire pilot. So that's called the low dantian. That point is called the low dantian. That's the seat of the fire element. And the temperature comes from that point. Otherwise, some people say, I have temperature all over my body. Where does it come from? It's from the mother's element, so the mother's blood. So in Tantrayana, mother's blood is the same as Dorje Pamu or Vajravarahi Vajrayogini. That's why in the inner fire practice, the empowering deity or the empowering yidam is Dorje Pamu Vajrayogini. So that's why we call the inner fire practices, we call the Vajrayogini Tumo inner fire meditation. So that's why it's called the female or the mother's element. And there are 3 key points in the inner fire practice. One is your breathing. It has to be fine, slow and long, complete breathing. And then there's another kind of breathing, which is very coarse, fast, and short. And that's called the... So in Taoism, we call it the gentle fire and the strong. And the gentle fire is slow, fine, and long. And then the fierce fire is crude, short, and fast. So there are 2 kinds of fire. So you need to rely on the complete breathing. And second, you have to rely on your mind to visualize. You need to visualize that 4 finger width below below the navel, there is a triangular generating. It's like the Star of David. Star of David. So two triangles. So if you see from above, it's like the Star of David. But from the front, it's like two triangular on top of each other. And Dorje Patmu is on top of the triangle, and the inner fire starts from that palace of generation. And it is as tall as 2 fingers. So you need to visualize to be one, central channel, left and right channels. The breath comes in from the left and right channels, and then blow on the fire pilot, the seed of the temperature, slow, fine, and long. So it's like the fire pilot inside the fireplace. So if you use like the palm to give air, then the pilot fire would move and would spark, would give sparks, and then it would arise. So when there is air blowing on it, then that would happen. So it's like when you are running the locomotive, like I said, in the ancient time. Today, how does the locomotive move? They use electricity. But in the past, they used coal. In the early times, they used coal. Now they use electricity. So they burn the coal and then to generate heat, and then use the heat to move the locomotive, and then it would run. There's a song about running the train. Can I sing it? And the train would move. So you use this way to visualize how the fire from below can ascend. Because of your complete breathing, the air blows on the pilot fire, then it is ignited and it would rise to the navel chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra, brow chakra. And then your whole body is filled with the fire. So you rely on the power of your breathing to blow on the pilot fire, so that it becomes hot, becomes bright or light, and red. and then it would ascend. You need to visualize this. So the first point is complete breathing, and the second factor is visualization. It is A as B. So before marriage, it's like scuba diving. Why? Because from that point on, you need to learn how to hold your breath. So practicing inner fire, we also need to learn to regulate your breathing or hold your breathing. So you have to be totally focused and concentration. No sound. Use complete breathing, go down to blow on the pilot fire. And the pilot fire is as long as 2 finger length. And it is red, it is hot, and it is bright. It emits light. And you need to visualize that it is hot. Sometimes you don't need to visualize the heat. Like when you walk, when a lady is walking and she saw like a movie star, tall and handsome and cool, and you're a young lady seeing him, and that young man asks you for direction, all of a sudden you feel hot and your face blushed. Actually, the young man may not indicate anything, but she would get nervous and she would blush. Why? Because the heat arises. My heart goes boom boom. Handsome and cool young man, and you happen to be looking for a boyfriend, and you would be dumbfounded, and when he talked to you, that you would blush, and your speech would be impeded. And for men, when they come across beautiful lady, it's the same. Like when I was in elementary school, very young, I have said that I like a girl, a classmate that lives behind our house. And according to my younger sister, now she is like this. But in the past, she was really good looking, like an apple face, and white, and with the blushing and beautiful features, very attractive. And I was too embarrassed to say that I like her or something like that. So one day at that electrical company, they had a movie, and there was a cart, like a car that would bring us to the place of the movie from our dormitories. And then after the movie, we would get on the same car and then return home. And it's very crowded. And that girl, the family name is Gao. And cow in Chinese means tall, but actually she's not that tall. And it so happens she sat right in front of me. And because it's very crowded, so my feet, my knee, and her knee touch each other. I couldn't even breathe. My nerves were numb, and I felt hot all over. So the inner fire was ignited. So using your thoughts, using your mind, you can ignite the inner fire. And with the complete breathing, you can ignite the inner fire. So when you fight, your face is also hot. But that's not called inner fire. That's called the impure fire or complex fire. Like when you see a handsome boy or beautiful lady, that you would have the fire of desire. That's not the fire of rage, but that's the fire of desire. Burn your body. And then all of a sudden you feel thirsty and you want a drink of water. But why? Because the fire ascends, ignited. So the fire of desire is burning you. So if you say you have no fire, so actually through your mind you would have fire. But for most people it's fire of desire, fire of rage, and then just impure fire. But for us, the practitioner, we want to ignite the inner fire, a very pure fire, the intrinsic fire. And in Tibet, we also call it like a spiritual heat, or like Kundalini, because it's like a spiritual snake, so that's Kundalini. So it can crawl along your spine from below to top. So in Tantrayana we call it inner fire or tumo in Tibetan. So you have to rely on complete breathing and visualization. So if you still cannot ignite it, in order to induce it more, then you need to rub to increase the temperature. So a true Vajra master would know. And Milarepa use pushing or pressing, which is also the six burner temperature posture. So triangle, which is with your foot, and then you hug it with your arms, that's another triangle, and then you push your knees or your legs toward your abdomen, which is the Dantian area, which is the forefinger with below needle. So you use pushing, pressing, rubbing to ignite the inner fire. So all you know, like in the winter time, we would do this. So when you're cold, you rub, and then your palms would feel hot. That means, oh, cold. Samui.
Samun， 我本来以前讲三问的啦，后来有一个懂得日本语的，跟说要讲韩文，哇，你看误导众生。
I used to say Samun, but then someone knows Japanese corrected me wrongly. So when it's cold, you rub your palms, and then heat would be generated, right?
在做没有火的时候，没有火源的时候，他们刚刚开始就木
Like
头，
in the early
然后
time,
用一个木
when
头
there's still no
小
fire,
尖尖的，
they
然
use
后
a
用一
block
个
of
尖的木
wood,
头去转那个
and
木头，
then using a stick of wood,
摩擦
a
到最后，
stick, wooden stick that's pointed,
转
then they would rub it against that. So then the fire would be ignited. So you rely on that rubbing.
还要靠
So
转
not only you use the complete breathing to blow on the pilot fire, you also want to rub
也有
to
那
ignite the
个
fire.
用手
And there's also secret.
木工的带子缠住，
You use like a
晚
band,
上睡觉也缠住，
like a kung fu band,
你这
and
边
tie
很
it
热，有什么
very
好处？
tight, even when you sleep at night.
那等一
So
下
what
再
are
讲
the benefits of the warmth in this area? There are many benefits.
呼吸、
So breathing, there are 3 points, key points.
观想，
One is breathing,
再来
visualization,
一个就是摩擦，
and third is rubbing.
结合起来，
And combined together,
但
you
是这个
use
修
them
行
to ignite your inner fire.
蛮辛苦的，因
But
为
this
你
is
要
very,
久的修，
it's
你
full
做
of
很多
hardship.
事情
It's
你
really
要足，
quite a struggle in order to ignite the inner fire. You have to have full and robust qi.
懂得
You need to comprehend
肉
the 9 cycle Buddha breathing, Vajra chanting,
就比较
treasure this energy yoga, non-leaking. And then,
有慢，
if you have friction in those practices, it would be easier to do the practice of inner fire and ignite it.
吹这个母火，那母
So
火大概就是摇一下吧，
breathe slowly
文火摇，真
to
正
blow
要
on the
让它
pilot
升起来
fire,
的时候
and then you also use gentle breathing to blow on it. When you really want to ignite it, you use the fierce breathing.
啊，火车在开动，
So it's like locomotive.
那个时候你观想那个火就很力量很大，
And
但是
at
也
that
是
time, you visualize the fire to be very strong, fierce.
吐出来，很短的时间，又粗又短又急，那个叫做力动。
So the breathing is
为什
very
么要这样子做力动？
coarse, short, and fast.
很容易让火升起。
And why do we need to
这个时
breathe
候啊，你在
very fiercely like that? Is because then it would be easy to ignite the fire.
用磨的，
And then you use the rubbing.
非常的热，
You rub the dantian
观
area
想它的火
until
往
it's
上，
really hot. And then you use visualization
再用
to visualize the fire to ascend, to arise.
就产
And
生
then
了
you use the forceful breathing.
那时候腹部会
Then
热
you would generate that power.
然后热可以一直到了顶，可以燃烧明点，
And then the heat
这是一个方法。
would arises until the crown, then it would melt and burn the light drops. That's the methods.
老师真是画家啊！有人问你为什么专画风景画呢？这个人画家就回答：因为不会有一棵树。
Someone asked the painter,
说我画的一点都不像。
why do you paint the
好像有
trees?
什么好笑？
And the painter replied, well, because trees wouldn't complain that I don't paint it exactly.
不好笑的笑话。
That's not
哦
funny.
这个是中国的笑话了。
This is a Chinese
有一
joke.
个人姓魏的，他讲说以后要
Play of
以后要
words of
生3
Chinese.
个孩子，名字我就想好，一个叫胃
I will not
酸、胃
translate.
痛跟胃溃疡。这是
It's
中国人的那
the
个
sound.
笑话。
Yeah. This,
那我们升起的着佛，
So after we ignite the inner fire,
是没有观想这个你的肺部，不观想肺。
so in complete breathing, you don't visualize the lungs at
也
all.
不是到胃，
And the breathing does not also reach stomach.
底下
It should reach the forefinger width below
底
navel.
下四指的地方，一定要观想那里。
You need to visualize that area.
这个三角形
And there are two triangles on top of each other.
大卫，
And look from top,
它
it would
本
be
身
like a star of David.
本身呢，它在上面的这个立体的三角形，那么在
And
在
it
这
is a
边
3D
在上面那个
triangle.
生法光里面产生出来，产生出来
And
的
the pilot fire would be
那个
ignited
地点
on
是在哪里
that,
就记
on
下四个
that
指头的地方，
like
记
a
轮在这里
pyramid.
四个指头就是在这里，
So forefinger width below the navel,
从这里
there
有一
would
个
be the generation palace.
火以
There would be a fire
烧出来
pilot
会
there
燃烧整个
that
全
would
身
ignite the fire
身上
that would burn all over the body,
往下身燃
and
烧
it would
整个
ascend
身体全部
and
在
then it
火
would
里面
descend and burn the whole
火
body.
光三昧
And when this kind of meditation is
这种
called
火光三昧
the meditation of fire and light.
刚才讲胃，所以这个呼吸不是在胃的地方，完全呼吸不是在胃的地方。
So complete free breathing does not only reach the lungs or the stomach.
这个也是只有中国人才听得懂。
This joke could only be understood by the Chinese, so I will not translate this.
啊，他在医院里面，他到了医院里面，在医院里面玩，听见大人讲说这个气管炎啊，气管炎，他就跑回到家去问爸爸，爸爸什么叫做气管炎？只见他爸爸稍稍的这个趴在他的耳朵上，等一下你妈出去了，我再告诉你。这种笑话啊，只是讲那个身体的气管。在谢师宴上，有一个同学对老
On
师
a gratitude dinner,
我必须要敬
a
你，
student told the
对
teacher,
我真好。
I need to
每
toast you
次讲
because
完，
you're very
都
good
会
to
第一
me.
个问我明白了没有。
Because after you explain a topic, you always ask me if I understand.
只要你
But the
明白
teacher
了
said,
大家都会明白。
because if you understand, I know everyone else would understand.
我跟大家讲的是，大家都应该要明白啊。
So what I explain here, you should
因为我讲
understand
的非常的
clearly.
讲得非
Because
常
what I explained was in great details. You need to utilize complete breathing
利用观想，
and
要想
visualization.
它是红色的，
You need to visualize it to be red,
而
hot,
且会发光的，
and emit light.
就是用摩擦
or bright.
让它生热的。
And third, you need to use rubbing to generate heat.
摩擦生热的方法是非常重要的。
This is very important to rub to generate heat.
有很多
That's
次的失
why
败
Milarepa failed many times in this practice before he eventually succeeded.
很有恒心，
So you need to have strong
心理
or great perseverance,
都包含在内，
both mentally and physically.
内法修行的着法。
So this is the inner fire practice of Tantric Buddhism or Tantrayana.
这个是
You need to be persevere
起来有什么好？
and diligent in this practice. What are the benefits of the inner fire being ignited?
完全会无漏，
One,
完全
you would be completely
因
non-leaking
为你下盘有温度，
because there is warmth on your lower body. Because if your lower body is cold or cool, then you would leak. But if on the lower body you're warm, then you would be able to vaporize the light drops. And the light drops would vaporize. And when you use the inner fire to transform the light drops into vapor, then you will not leak. Then you would be truly non-leaking. Second benefit is you would be very healthy. You're not afraid to be sick. Why someone would be sick? In English, it's good saying catch cold. So catch cold. In Taiwanese, that's very descriptive. You catch cold. And in Taiwanese is you're being blown by the air, by the wind. And the English, in English also good, very descriptive. You catch cold. And when your immunity is low and cold invaded you, then you catch cold. But if you have ignited the inner fire, you would have warmth or heat in your body. Then you become strong. It would not be easy for you to catch cold. Then you would have a very strong immunity. The fire is that strong immunity. And it can even eliminates the germs. When I had medical checkup in the clinic, they told me there's no need for you to be vaccinated. Everyone gets vaccination. How come I have no need? And the doctor said, because your body can eliminate any kinds of germs that enter into your body. So when they drew the blood, there are lots of germs or virus inside your blood, but they're all dead. So inside your blood, you have viruses, but they're all dead. They have been killed by me, by my immune system. So there's no need for vaccination. I said, I want vaccination. What if I have hepatitis A, B, C? Because I'm going back to Taiwan, or when I was about to visit India, it wasn't hygienic there. There are lots of hepatitis there. But the doctor said, no need, no need. Because you already have the immunity in your body. And you have killed all those viruses before. So you would become very strong. Your qi would be very robust. And your fire would be big. No, I'm not talking about the red face, which is the hot-tempered people. Like my granddad, my dad would lose temper. And for me, I'm a bit better because I practice Buddhism. Because after I practice Buddhism, I don't beat my children. But in Taiwan, in early times, I was beaten by my dad till I cried. I got home from school and I was whistling. And my dad would jump off his bed and you have toothache, and he beat me. And I was singing as I got home. What song was that? So I was singing coming home, and as soon as I got home, my dad jumped off the bed. I am your dad and I'm sleeping, I'm napping, and you're singing. So he beat me to death. But I don't do that, because I am a Buddhist practitioner. Prior to losing your temper, you should just recite Namo Amitabha. Amitabha doesn't like us to lose tempers. Then when you see him, you would smile and you would not lose your temper anymore. These days, I don't lose my tempers very much at all. These days, if someone else loses his or her temper, then I would run away, run and hide. What can I say? So, to be Buddhist, when we practice the inner fire, we can be healthy, we can feel warm, and we would have an even mood. And we would always feel very at ease, and very easy and carefree. And you feel warm, but there's no raging fire, not fire of desire, fire of rage, or fire of a chaotic or messy fire. But you would feel very free and easy, and you don't get sick very easily, you don't catch cold easily, you would be healthy, you would be strong, and you would have very robust Qi. And you would be able to do like the Kung Fu or fist exercises. So if you practice Qi and fire, you would feel very clean and light and free and easy. And it would be easy when you practice, when you meditate. So it's like very light and easy and at peace and free. You would have such feelings. And Milarepa is even more amazing. After he ignited his inner fire, he could use his inner fire and emit the fire. And when he shoot the fire down, his body would float in the air. So simply said, you would have all the supernatural or transcendental power. When the inner fire moves inside the central channel, you would feel that peace and ease and lightness, and it would generate a really great bliss. So, for the Buddhist practitioner, when you have such feeling of free easiness and light and pure, then it would be easy for you to enter into meditation, and you would be focused and concentration, and you would feel warm, and you would not be easily invaded by the cold. So in the inner fire practice, you need 10 complete breathing, in the gentle breathing, and then you visualize the fire to rise to the navel chakra. Another 10 times, it rises to the heart chakra. Another 10 times to throat chakra. Another 10 times to the brow chakra. And because the fire rises to the brow chakra, the light drops would be melted and would drip. And in the future, I will teach the light drop practice. This is when the light drops starts to melt. So after the inner fire practice, that would be the light drop practice. and in the inner fire practice, light would be emitted. Then you can use this light to see the outer light and the inner light and to combine the two lights. And then you can diminish or diminish your physical body. And when you ignite the inner fire, you can burn all the physical matters and transform into rainbow. Then you attain Buddhahood. So the inner fire practice and the rainbow light attainment and the direct Buddhahood are interrelated. So first you need to have warmth all over your body. That in the winter time you can still have this air conditioner blowing continually and your body still doesn't feel cold at all. So even when in the winter time, I still need this air conditioning blowing. Actually today it's not so cold, but it's not so hot. But still, I still need the aircon. So naturally, you would have that power of transcendental ability, and then you would have great self-mastery. You would be totally at ease and at peace, because by the inner fire ignited, you can burn away all your running thoughts, all your destructive thoughts, all your afflictions. And then inadvertently, you would gain that ease and freedom and lightness. It doesn't matter what happens outside. You have that great self-mastery, and you're just like playing in this human world with great self-mastery. And most importantly, you need to have the inner fire ignited first. And the fierce breathing is that when you feel that the fire is getting warm, and when you visualize, continually visualizing the pilot fire, when it's about to be ignited, you need to use the forceful breathing to blow it, to ignite it. So it's like the locomotive of the early time. They use that forceful air to blow on the coal until it becomes really red and hot. So that blowing, that wind at that time is called the forceful breathing. So at first you use the gentle breathing to make it warm, and then when it's about to be ignited, you use the forceful breathing to blow on it. And then it becomes hot and red, and then the locomotive started to move. So that's the theory. So the breathing is that wind pump, and the coal is the pilot fire. So you use the complete breathing to blow on the pilot fire. When the temperature gets warmer, when the fire is about to be ignited, you use the forceful breathing, and then on top of it you add the rubbing to increase the temperature. So after you master the treasure-based energy yoga, you ignite your inner fire using these 3 key points: breathing, visualization, and rubbing, to ignite the inner fire. Then you would be able to gain that ease and freeness and lightness, and it would be easy for you to enter into meditation of fire and light. And you need to pray to your lineage root guru, to your yidam, lineage root guru for his blessing and empowerment, and the yidam for their absorption, and the protectors to protect you. And Dorje Patmo would exist in that pilot fire. She would be like the fire burning, and then to grow, gradually grow to fill your whole body and also to your lower body, and your whole body enter into the meditation of the fire radiance. This meditation is most important. Why? Because from meditation you can open the 5 chakras. You can open the central channel, to open the heart chakra. Then you would be able to see your own Buddha nature. And Buddha nature is also appears as light, a blue light. That is in the light drop practice. That's considered in the light drop practice. Talking about the 7-year itch, as we all know. The first year of marriage is freshness. Second year, adapt familiarity. The third year is tasteless. Fourth year is considering. Fifth year is planning. Sixth year is about to move. And the 7th year, you're taking action. You're in action. So inner fire is the same. First year is freshness. Second year, familiar. Third year is rather tasteless because it's not ignited yet. Fourth year, it started to be meaningful. Fifth year, the fire is starting to rise. The 6th year, the fire is moving. 7th year, the whole body is fire. Then the inner fire practice has attained. So you need years to practice. The first time I practice it, how come I don't feel any warmth? In 1 year, like say, after you practice for 1 year or 2 years, you don't feel warmth and you stop. No. Milarepa practiced for many, many years before he succeeded. But he had transmitted the pith instructions, the key formulas to that. So in our practice, we should do it faster. Maybe you can use tapping or beating until it's red. Even a slap, your face would be red and hot already. So you can slap the Tantian area. But please don't slap until you have problems with your intestines or your body. So you can slap until everything is open and loose. Isn't there a way to be that they beat using like a like a sweeper or something, like a bamboo sticks all over your body, is to gain health. There's a method like that. But you can use slapping, pressing, pushing, rubbing. And so the external heat would help the inner heat. And then with breathing and visualization, the fire would be ignited. Om Mani Padme Hum.